let's get into what is the shadow. It is an unintended byproduct of the creation of our persona. And so let's talk a little bit about what the persona is. In the picture, you see a man with a mask. The actual word persona literally refers to the mask worn in ancient Greek theater by the actors. And so it is the social mask that we wear and that we present to the world. So everything that we know of ourselves, we don't necessarily put it out there to other people. Think of your persona as a social media profile. You're not going to put all of your flaws and faults on your social media profile. You're going to pick the best picture and you're going to put all the wonderful things about yourself in your profile. That is what your persona is. Your persona is that aspect of your ego that is outward facing. It is what we show to the world so that they get a sense when looking at us, interacting with us, this is what this person is like. However, it is not the totality of who we are. It is just the surface that other people see. So in the process of creating this persona for ourselves, and this process takes place especially in our formative years when we're very young and we're growing up, what happens is that we look to the outside world, especially our parents, especially those that are very close to us, and we are constantly trying to understand what is considered acceptable behavior, what is considered the thing to do, what is considered the thing that gets the approval of our parents, the approval of others around us. And in so doing, and this is an entirely unconscious process, in the process of creating this social mask, and sort of like saying, okay, we're going to take these traits and we're going to show these traits because mom and dad really like that and they treat us in a very nice way when we show these traits. But in the process of doing that, what happens is that we edit ourselves. So we might have proclivities, we might have certain types of personality traits that our mom and dad show us, hey, this is not acceptable. Maybe it's met with a glare or, a harsh word, or maybe even punishment or something like that. But a lot of times it's really sort of subtle, and we are always constantly monitoring our environment to pick up on these social cues in order to create this persona, because it is actually a survival adaptation that we as humans employ, because of the fact that as humans, we are helpless for a very long period of our lives until we can, strike out and make it on our own. And so basically what that means for us is that as we are creating this persona, especially in our formative years, there are aspects of ourselves that we find out are not acceptable. We want to try to break these off and take that fragment and push it deep down into our unconscious minds, where we don't have to deal with it, because there's only so much capacity that we have for computing the things around us, all of the inputs that are coming at us and coming to us. And so in order for us to really sort of be able to not become so overwhelmed, our mind just does that for us. It just kind of like says, let's put this in the basement of the mind. Let's put this in the basement of the mind as we build our persona. So we could call the shadow, therefore, all of that stuff that we've put into the unconscious mind, all that we deny, we fear, or we hate in ourselves, for fear that they will lead to our rejection by others. Remember, the first people that we want to have the approval of is our parents, but not just our parents, our friends, our extended families, society at large, and it goes out, right? So what happens though is that all of this feared, hated content about ourselves that's pushed into the unconscious, it is always now in our blind spots, in the blind spot of our psyche. We don't see it. We don't know it's there, but it is there. It's always still there. This is something to note as well, is that all of the shadow aspects or the unconscious aspects of the self that we've broken off, fragmented, and pushed into the unconscious mind are not always negative traits, believe it or not. You see, you can tell that obviously negative traits would be there because we don't want to, we want to disavow ourselves of the negative traits. However, there are also positive traits that we have that when we've shown them, we perhaps got beaten down in some way by others that are jealous of us, or perhaps we stand out in a way that we shine and people don't like it. Sometimes people don't like when you stand out too much. And so you pick up on this and you push those positive traits into the unconscious as well. So the shadow contains positive and negative traits in that sense. The thing about the shadow, like I said, it's in our blind spot, it's in the unconscious mind. However, it's important to note that we do encounter the shadow from time to time. And this is how we encounter the shadow. We encounter them in our projections, but we also encounter our shadow as frightening figures in our dreams that are the same gender as us. You see, our dream life is our unconscious mind trying to communicate certain unconscious content to our conscious minds. And so in Jungian thought, it's very important to see and view our dreams as the unconscious mind making known through primal symbols. And that's why, dreams don't seem to make sense, but dreams are completely speaking of your internal world in the form of primal symbols, symbols that resonate with you. And so even though in a linear sort of like waking life fashion, your dream seems like complete nonsense, if you were to think of it as a series or a set of symbols that the unconscious mind is using to communicate with you, then it can make a lot more sense. And this is where a Jungian coach or somebody that is a third party that can actually help you get in touch with your unconscious mind through helping you analyze your dreams and so forth.